Welcome back to Objective 4 in Chapter 11 of our 3B1 series. In this objective, we'll describe the design and explain the terms, purpose and operation of a hot lime soda softener, and then describe the components of a complete system. So, as I mentioned in the last objective, this objective is rather a freebie in that it comes rather hand in hand with our cold lime soda softener in that it's almost the same. Chemical reactions, exactly the same, only these chemical reactions now, because of the higher temperature of the water, happen almost instantaneously. That's the big difference between these two. There are some subtle ones that we'll go through. Now, we're heating the water up with low pressure sparging steam to around about 100 degrees C, and that's a very generalized number. It is going to differ slightly, but it begs the question, why heat the water up to 100 degrees C? Is it just to get faster chemical reactions? And the answer is, well, no, not exactly. Yes, getting almost instantaneous chemical reactions is definitely an advantage, but by heating the water with steam as it comes in and giving it a scrubbing action, we almost turn it into a deaerator. And what do deaerators do? They remove dissolved gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide. So too does our hot lime soda softener. Now, because we're operating at elevated temperatures, this thing is going to require frequent testing and also adjustments with regarding the controls to prevent sludge carryover. And this is simply where the sludge that's being formed carries over with the clarified softened water exiting out the top of the vessel. Now, the easiest way to talk about hot lime soda softening without sort of going back over old tracks again is to simply do a comparison between our cold lime soda softener that we did in Objective 3 with the hot lime soda softener that we're doing now in Objective 4. So the typical sort of temperatures we're talking with cold lime soda softening is around that 25 to 30 degrees versus 100 degrees for hot lime soda softening. The cold process is rather slow in that it takes time with regards to those chemical equations to complete. In the hot lime soda softener, that happens very rapidly, almost instantaneously. Now, coagulant is definitely required in the cold lime soda softening, but it's not required in the hot lime soda softening. However, you do often see coagulant being injected into hot lime soda softeners. It depends upon the process. And the reason for that simply is that we get a much better settling characteristic in hot water due to lower viscosity. And that's what goes us on to our next one. In the cold one, filtration isn't easy because it's cold water, it's more viscous, it's going to take more pressure to push through a filter. In the hot process, downstream of our soda softener, the water is a lot higher temperature, so it's going to be much easier to push through a filter due to its lower viscosity. Now here's the big one. We didn't talk about the residual hardness from a cold lime soda softener previously. We just said that it softened the water. Well, most of you probably would have thought that it softens it to zero, like a good sodium zeolite softener would, or a demineralizer, or something like that. But cold lime soda softening was only going to get you down to about 60 parts per million. Now, I'm sure you agree that is extremely too hard to stick into a boiler. So why are we even doing it? Well, remember, cold lime soda softening doesn't just do hardness softening. It also does a lot more things, like reducing iron content, reducing TDS, reducing silica, reducing oil, etc. All these things are in there. And as we mentioned in the previous objective, cold lime soda softeners are often used when the water coming in is extremely hard. So we soften it down to this 60, then push it through something else to take the rest out of it. And basically, it's just taking the load off of some other method of water softening or demineralization. Now, in our cold lime soda softener, dissolved gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide, they're not removed. That's a big disadvantage. So in other words, we will have to mechanically deaerate, and then also cold lime soda softening versus hot is a much lower capacity in terms of output. Now, the last three on the right-hand side for our hot lime soda softener, look what our residual hardness gets to down here, 10 to 30. That's so much better than cold lime soda softening. Also, dissolved gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide, they are removed due to the sparging and the scrubbing action of our low pressure steam. And then finally, we get a much better high capacity flow through and output of our hot lime soda softener, as well as an increased overall efficiency. Okay, so the diagram on figure 6 of our textbook then does a nice example of illustrating the entire process, as we have here our soda softener in the center, and then we have our filtration unit on the back end. Now notice from the diagram that first of all the water is going to enter at the top, and then as that vent section is there, just below there is where it's going to be scrubbed with the steam. Now of course, as dissolved gases are going to be released, as oxygen and CO2 come out of solution at higher temperatures, they need to be vented through a vent. There will also be a vent condenser, just like in the deaerator, so to allow the steam to condense and then drop back down into the water. Now the water is now going to make its way down inside of this vessel, where it will then have to do a 180-degree turn and go up and under this intake hood here, or this uptake hood. From there it will pass out and go out through here our treated water outlet, before it will then pass through our bank of filters that will finally remove any other suspended solids that escape through our hot soda softener. Now notice at the bottom here that we have our sludge level and our desludging valve. So again, we can control the level of sludge in the vessel by simply desludging. There is also a sludge recirculation line here. As we mentioned earlier, sludge aids in the filtration process. And we also want to keep this stuff moving as well. We don't want it to settle into a solid. Now on the left hand side we can also see where our chemical is coming in. So our chemical feed here is being injected once again into the top of the vessel, similar to where it would have been done on a cold lime soda softener. Now during the backwash of this thing, it will react in the same way as it does previously. So when backwashing this thing, you can see that the wash water from the filters in terms of the backwash is going to pass up and out and into our hot lime soda softener. So how is this more efficient? Well, normally when you backwash filters, where does the water go? It goes down the drain. Where does this backwash water go? Back to the soda softener. It will then be resoftened, desludged, and then it will go back to the filters and moves on. So we are recycling our water and not dumping as much. Massive improvement on efficiency there. Now the overall process of this thing takes around about 1 hour for the water to pass through and soften. Now the 1 hour is referred to as something called the HRT, and this is hydraulic retention time. In other words, how long does the water stay in the vessel? Now, with reference to our chemical, i.e. the coagulant, the chemical in our hot lime soda softener is not really required, but these chemical feeds being shown here, are they coagulant? Well, it doesn't show. But what chemicals do we put into a soda softener? Calcium hydroxide, we also put in sodium carbonate, and we also put in magox. Same deal here. So we're talking here about the coagulants, we're not talking regarding our lime and soda injections. Okay, so a typical example of where you might see a typical sort of arrangement like this is if you go up north of Cold Lake, there are lots of SAGD facilities up there with companies like Synovis and Imperial, etc. And they have plants similarly laid out to this, where we have our recycled water coming in, and a lot of this will be from, of course, our blowdown. And then, of course, we also might have some makeup water coming from brackish water. And that can be very hard, very salty, full of chlorides. So you can see here, because the water is so hard, it's passing through a warm stroke hot lime soda softener. What's the difference between a warm and a hot one? Simply the temperature. The same concept goes ahead. Now notice with this particular one that it shows an indication of an injection of calcium hydroxide, i.e. lime, magox, magnesium oxide, and of course we'd also be putting in soda ash, sodium carbonate. This one's also showing coagulants and flocculants being injected in there as well. And that would simply be a reduced amount that would be required in this versus a cold one where it would be a requirement. But again, whether you use coagulants or not, that's not going to be down to us. That's going to be down to our water consultant. Now, our hot stroke warm soda softener is going to get our hardness now down to around about 10 to 30 parts per million. So after it passes through the bank of filters after the soda softener, it now passes into the tank here. and this is simply a water tank, which is the effluent from the soda softener. From here, the injection of sulfite is now put in to scavenge any oxygen. From here, we pass through our primary and secondary filter softeners here. That's the primary train and the polisher train, and that would just be a sodium zeolite softener, and that's going to now knock our 10 to 30 parts per million down to 0 ppm. So it'll be completely soft. From here, we can see a passivator being injected. That's just for corrosion. From there, more sulfite being injected after our soft feed water tank, as well as any other chemistry that goes in. Then it passes through our series of once-through steam generators, through a steam separator to increase our steam quality, and then down to the thermal wells. So you're unlikely to find lime soda softening around these parts, around Lloydminster, but if you go up north and you want to work in the oil field, you will popularly see them in a lot of plants. So very typical sort of application there, just to give you some context as to where you might see this. Okay, so fairly short objective. Let's wrap it up and see what sort of questions we can get asked that are slightly different compared to objective 3 with regarding cold versus our hot. So for our first one, a hot lime soda softener will reduce the hardness of our feed water down to what? 10 to 20, 10 to 30, 20 to 40, or 60 ppm. Well, this is stated in your textbook on page 10. Very popular question. It is 10 to 30 parts per million. And don't forget, the same as the cold lime soda softener, this thing's also going to reduce our silica as well. It also acts as deaerator, and it also acts as a filter, as well as reducing our TDS, reducing iron and everything else. Very, very multifaceted, variable vessel, really. Really good stuff. Okay, next one. So what approximate temperature is the water heated to in a hot lime soda softener? 85, 90, 95, or 100 degrees C? Again, it's stated word for word in your textbook. It is 100 degrees C. So again, take that number with a bit of a pinch of salt. It will differ slightly vessel to vessel, but our textbook states 100 degrees C, and that's what we regurgitate in the exam. Next, what is the approximate hydraulic retention time within a hot lime soda softener? Meaning, how long does it take the water to get through this thing? We talked about this. It was approximately 1 hour for our retention time. Nice slow velocity through the vessel, giving plenty of time for the actions to take place. Next one. As an operator, what is a concern whilst operating a hot lime soda softener? Is it that it doesn't remove silica, the possibility of sludge carryover, that it doesn't reduce TDS, or that the chemical reaction must occur at a pH greater than 11? Well, I mentioned this on one of the very first few slides. One of the issues with hot lime soda softening, and why we have to monitor it fairly carefully, is because of the possibility of sludge carryover. And that can be a real problem if we send sludge over with our clear water or our softened water. Next one. In a hot lime soda softener skid with filters, where is the backwash water sent? Classic question straight off of figure 6. Now again, we're backwashing the filters, we're not backwashing the lime soda softener. Now if you follow the diagram on figure 6, you can see that the backwash water goes from the filters and passes up and into again the lime soda softener. So basically, instead of sending it down the drain, which is very wasteful, we're recycling it, resoftening it, and then it carries on its merry way back through the filters again. This is one of the reasons why we can increase our efficiency of operation with hot lime versus cold lime. Okay, so that's it for objective 4. A fairly quick and straightforward one, but again, it's only going to be an easy one if you've got objective 3 in your head regarding cold lime soda softening, because everything's the same regarding the chemistry. Okay, so check out objective 5. Make sure you give that figure 6 diagram a really good going over, and you've committed to memory these few numbers that were thrown at you, like our time, hardness, and temperature. And then when you're ready, come back and see me, and we'll do a really quick objective, which is our introduction then to getting into other methods of softening, such as sodium zeolite and demineralization. So I'll see you back for objective 5 soon. Take care.